Hi, I'm Chris Alexander from Red Queen Consulting. This is a quick introduction to Agile. So if you're wondering things like, what is Agile? When people say we are Agile or we use Agile or we're doing Agile, what does that really mean? What is Agile? Where does it come from? We're not going to go deep into where it does come from. Check out our other video that's linked in the comment section here that goes into the full history of Agile. But this video specifically will help you to understand what is Agile, what is the Agile Manifesto, what does the word mean, and you'll know when somebody says, oh, we use the Agile framework, they really don't know what they're talking about. So let's get started. So the first thing to remember is that Agile came about in 2001, and we'll get to that in a moment. But prior to that, through the 80s and the 1990s, there were a whole lot of people in a whole lot of places who were trying to build and deliver software specifically better. And they were all creating different approaches, different methods and frameworks to help them do that. So you'll see some of the major ones here listed on the screen. These are not the only frameworks. These are not all that is out there. These are just some of the bigger ones that you may have heard of and that Agilists and people who are familiar with the domain will be aware of. The Crystal Method, Rapid Unified Process, or RUP, DSDM, Scrum, which is obviously today the overwhelmingly biggest framework on the market, Extreme Programming, or XP, Feature-Driven Development, and Disciplined Agile Delivery, or what is now today called Disciplined Agile, DA, which is the Agile framework that is used in PMI, the Project Management Institute. It's not that any one of these is better or worse than the other, they just have different approaches, they think about things in different ways, they have different names for certain things, but generally, the point to take away from this is that in the 80s and 90s, there were all of these different frameworks that were approaching the problem of how do we deliver software better. And so that led to this meeting where a lot of these folks, not all, but a lot of these folks from across industry and from different industries got together to talk about what it was that they had in common and what they shared, and what they created at that meeting in 2001 was the Agile Manifesto for software development. You can still find this today at https://agilemanifesto.org. And the Agile Manifesto is simply a consolidation of the thinking from all these individuals, and it states 4 values and 12 principles. Those 4 values simply relate how they think their frameworks and any other and subsequent frameworks should approach the problem of software development from a basic values and principles standpoint. It's important to understand there's no prescription in here. There are no framework specifics like what roles should we have, what meetings should we go to, how often should we have meetings, how would we organize work. None of that is addressed except from a principles and values perspective. The reason that this is important is that when you realize anything and any framework now or in the future that adheres to this set of values and principles is what we would consider an Agile framework. And that's all it is. It's really simple. So when you hear folks talking about, oh, we use Agile or we do Agile or we have the Agile framework, they don't. And they don't know what it means really. There's a ton of Agile frameworks on the market. Many of those that I listed earlier are still being used, and I'm sure there will be hopefully some in the future, or you can create your own framework. If it adheres to the values and the principles of the Agile Manifesto, it would qualify as an Agile framework. If it doesn't, it isn't. It's very, very simple. So Agile is just an umbrella term that covers a lot of different ways that people have approached the problem of how do we build and deliver software better. I'm Chris Alexander from Red Queen Consulting. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, get in touch.